is Friday the 13th. Of course, you knew that already because you saw it on the calendar. And it looks like Israel and Iran are going to war with each other. And, yeah, well, happy weekend. How you guys doing, man? I guess, I don't know yet. I'll get back to you later. It was funny because June the 13th is always this day I always aware of because, it's when the Edict of Milan made Christianity legal in the Roman Empire, and I once had to write a report about that. So until I find out more about what's going on between Iran and Israel, we're just going to stick with what we had planned today. So way back in 312 AD, the Battle of Milvian Bridge, Constantine the Great is going to battle against one of his rivals, Maxinius, and they clash at the Battle of Milvian Bridge not far from Rome. Now, Constantine reminds me of Tom Brady a little bit because just for this big battle, probably the biggest battle of his life, he had this, and he'd been in lots of battles, but he had this habit of taking a nap, just before the battle. It's like Tom Brady just takes a snooze, before the Super Bowl. So he takes a nap and he has a dream of this cross in the sky with the words, "In the sign you shall conquer." So he tells everybody, put the Christian symbol on the shields. So why not? You're fighting a big battle, grab every edge you can get, right? Well, here's the Christian symbol of time. Before there was a cross, there was what they called the Chi Rho, right? Those are the first two letters in Jesus' name in Greek. So everybody paints this on their shield, off they go to battle, and guess what? Constantine wins. He becomes the Roman Emperor, East and West, though his career started in the West, but he seemed to spend a lot of time in the East. So, since the Christian God had helped him out there in 312, he decides Christianity's okay and he stops the persecution. But it takes all the way until 330 when he issues the Edict of Milan, making Christianity legal. And I always love these pictures they show. It's always dramatized. Is he reading off a scroll? Is he standing on something? There's a picture I couldn't find, but I was looking. But he's proclaiming that Christianity is legal, and he's standing next to a fruit stand. So he's kind of edging her that fruit stand, trying to get a free apple or something. Yeah, even emperors try to get free food. So the Edict of Milan on June the 13th, 330. Christianity, after 3 centuries of persecution, becomes legal throughout the empire. Not the official religion. That happens in 380 with Theodosius. But on June the 13th, 330 AD, the Edict of Milan, and suddenly Christianity is legal. Now, did Constantine become a Christian on that day? No, he didn't. You know when he became a Christian? May the 22nd, 337. Yeah, he got a baptism on his deathbed because when you're baptized, all your sins are washed away. So, the guy was reading the rule book pretty close. Get a clean slate before he heads off into the light over there. There's a picture of Constantine being baptized. And we know it didn't happen like that. He was on his deathbed, okay? Thou shalt not bear false witness. Somebody forgot about that one. But nonetheless, Constantine gets the ball rolling with Christianity in the Roman Empire. Hey, what's this thing? Yeah, Anuragnathus. It means frog jaw. I had never heard of this animal before. I was looking up some other stuff, and this guy popped up, and I wasn't sure what it was. Is that a pterosaur, some kind of a bat? Why does it look like a flying frog? Because that's what it is, basically. Now, it's actually very important in research because of its impressive, for its size, wingspan. This is an animal with light bones, long wings, and it means this thing flies. It doesn't hop from tree to tree. It doesn't run around the ground and jump up to fly. No, this thing stays in the air all the time because of those very light bones. It's not very big. It's maybe the size of your hand and tips the scale at an estimated whopping 1.4 ounces. Yeah, very small little guy, just darting around. In fact, the fossil we have, a complete thing, was kind of smashed flat into a rock in Germany because they think that an animal who had no idea that frog jaw was flying around just stepped on it and kept going. What a way to go. So there's another picture of it. Yep, looks like a flying frog. Yeah, but it's definitely a reptile. Even has a bat. It's got this fur. We think the fur might have been to detect which way the wind was blowing, or maybe storms or something like this. So it flies around, hops on the ground a little bit, take a break, maybe eat up some bugs or something, and then it flies around very much like a bat, and definitely insectivore, because if it's 1.4 ounces, what else can it hunt? And does anything hunt it? It's probably too small to make a decent meal. So its biggest hazard is getting stepped on by something that never knew it was there to begin with. There's a nice picture right there. Look at those teeth. See, it's not like a typical pterosaur. You don't see the beak. It's definitely got teeth because of reptile, but definitely has, they saw in the impression of the fossil what would appear to be little hairs or filaments anyway. So very odd looking. There it is. It eats bugs during the Jurassic period, 150 million years ago to 149 million years ago. Yeah, I wonder if it was ever in Jurassic Park. And we never know. You wouldn't see it. Hey, here's the UFL Championships tomorrow. How about that? It's in St. Louis for the second year in a row. The league said they wanted to have it in D.C. at Audi Field, but there's some kind of scheduling conflict. I think, you get a bigger crowd in St. Louis, have the game there, right? So who's in it this year? Well, for the first time ever, somebody who's not Birmingham. Yep, the D.C. Defenders from the XFL Conference against the Michigan Panthers from the USFL Conference. I kind of like both teams. I always like DC because they play on a grass field, but I really like Michigan too. Cool looking uniforms. And you know how Mr. H is about his uniforms, right? On Saturday, 8 o'clock, they come out into the Dome at America Center. Michigan is the official home team there with the plum. They call it plum and gold uniforms, and DC there wearing white. They've played each other twice. This year, Michigan romped them pretty good. I think it was 38-14 or something. And Michigan beat them last year, too. So 2-0 lifetime Michigan against DC. If DC is looking for the first win against Michigan, yeah, this is probably a good time to do it. Michigan, way back in the dark ages, actually won their very first USL Championship in 1983. They defeated Birmingham to get to this playoff game, and they had never beaten Birmingham before in a recent reiteration of the USFL and UFL and all that. DC went to the championship in 2003 and lost out to a Arlington team that was 4-6 at the time. So, definitely looking for a little bit of payback. Some of those guys are still on that team. Going up against Michigan, you're there for the championship. It doesn't matter who you play. It's a championship. Who you play, where you play, doesn't matter. Don't care if it's the Michigan Panthers on Mars. It's still a championship game. Now, you guys have yourself a fantastic Friday. Don't worry about Friday the 13th. Unless you're standing at an Israeli or Iranian target, then you might have some problems. Till then, have a fantastic day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and das vidanya.